Be an opportunity to present in this conference. Probably I might be almost one of the last or maybe second last presenter here. I know all the people might be bored from the long presentation. I try to make it a bit short. And my topic is a bit different. And at the end, maybe I would like everyone to come up with some suggestions and make it a bit more interactive. I am presenting today on Open Knowledge Network and its role in infrastructure development. Uh, I was already introduced. I am Anjani Fuyal, and I would like to call myself as activist on Open Knowledge. I am representing Open Knowledge Nepal, London. Okay, now I'd like to talk about open data. In the past presentation, everyone were talking about data, or maybe in Nepal I used to call data, whatever. So what is open data? It's a piece of data or content which is open, which is free for everyone to use, which can be reused, which can be redistributed as they wish without restriction from copyright, patent, or other mechanism of control. So basically, it's freely and openly available data. Okay, why open data? Open data leads to innovation, it increases efficiency, it increases transparency, which lead to participatory governance. It helps on self-empowerment. It helps on improved or new private product and services. It helps on improving efficiency and effectiveness of government services. It helps to measure impact of new policies. When data is open, it implies many mind principle. So obviously, when there are too many people contributing on a particular data set, it's gonna be really good quality. And another good point is fixing is much faster in open data because there are too many eyes and it's highly unlikely that something is going to be missing on that data set. Okay, now what kind of open data? What are the kind of open data? So it can be statistics data, it can be weather data, it can be environment data, it can be transport data, it can be geodata, culture, science, financial. So in the previous presentation, I think all the presenters talked about like gathering the data from different sources. So Professor Keshav Dahal spoke regarding like collecting data using IoT devices and sensors. So you can capture like environmental data, weather data from those kind of devices, even the geo data as well. Like someone was talking about like health and safety data, so you can actually capture those data as well. Science data, financial data, budget, government data as well. Or there are like other various kinds of data as well. So action plan for jobs and big data, maybe ICT strategy and e-government strategy. So again, the previous presenter Hari showed some statistics about telecommunication and all those kind of things. So it was until now it's really difficult to gather all those data. It's really difficult to capture the data set. Even though like government or different public bodies or private bodies publish the data set, it's difficult. It's not machine readable. Like you might find the data in maybe some PDF or maybe in some Word document or something. And if someone want to reuse that data, it's really difficult. Machine cannot read it. Like we need to have like some kind of parsing mechanism. So if another person want to reuse that data, then it's really difficult. That's why we don't say those data as a proper open data. Now the concept of open data lead to open knowledge. Okay, that's the logo of open knowledge. And what is open knowledge? So open knowledge is what open data becomes when it is useful, usable, and used. So all those data that was published earlier, or which the government and private bodies has been publishing until now, like if those data is on PDF or Word document or maybe Excel sheet, if it can be converted into machine readable format, maybe like JSON or CSV or other formats, and which other companies or other people can reuse, then that open data set now becomes open knowledge. The key feature of openness are availability and access, reuse and distribution, universal participation. Some examples. So United Nations usually publish like HDI, Human Development Index report, and they publish it in a such format that any other people or organization can actually reuse that data, make analysis on top of data on that data, and then they can like produce some other different kind of knowledge base which is helpful for the society and community. Okay, there's an example of another kind of data. It's long. So maybe like in school we used to write something in a piece of paper and then pass it to our girlfriend or something. Obviously, that's not open data. And this open knowledge is a movement, and it has started by a body called Open Knowledge International, which is a not-for-profit organization. So the definition is a global network using advocacy and technology to open up knowledge and to see it used to empower citizens and organizations to drive positive change. It actually builds tools and communities to create, use, and share knowledge, content, and data. It believes that creating an open knowledge common and developing tools and communities around this, we can make a significant contribution to improving governance, research, and the economy. There are various working groups inside Open Knowledge International. So that's Open Bibliography, Open Access, Open Transport, Open Economics, maybe I missed it, Open Knowledge, Open Education, Open Science, and that's Open Government Data. There are a whole lot of other different bodies, and the working group can be anything. Like if someone wants to produce like a standard hardware, I think Keshav sir earlier mentioned that now the hardware is much easier. Like there is compatibility between hardware and software, and it was really difficult 15 years before. And the reason is because now a lot of companies they are working together to make a common standard. So if those kind of standards are maintained, then it's much easier for everyone. So it can be like open hardware, or it can be dataset for anything. It can be dataset for like open science, maybe open economics. I don't know, open health and safety. It can be like if everyone is producing the health and safety data and then providing it in a publicly available way, then it can be like open health and public data as well. Open knowledge is an international movement, and a lot of countries are participating in this movement. And there are a lot of different projects which is happening from open knowledge from the Open Knowledge International. So some of the projects are one of the projects that has been implemented in UK is where does my money go? So basically, we pay NI, we pay our income tax. So if someone wants to figure out like where my money is going, where it is being invested, then this project actually gives you like a detailed insight of like how the money has been invested in various parts in the country. Okay, this is another interesting one, might be a bit funny. Findtoilet.dk. So what this project does is like if you want to go to any city, it's a common problem, human problem. Like everyone want to go to toilet, and it's difficult. Like we need to figure out okay, where is the McDonald's nearest McDonald's, or like where we can go to the toilet. So you go to the mobile app, it will find your location and it will show you the nearest public toilet, which is useful. I think useful for all human beings. And the interesting project, it's a difficult name, so I'm not going to pronounce it. So what it does is like, so it captures all the environmental data, uh, and then it has like it has a model that it predicts the pollution level for tomorrow or the next day. So it informs the public that how pollution is going to happen like tomorrow. So it just say like, okay, you stay at home because tomorrow the pollution level is going to be higher. There was similar kind of prediction that happened, I think, a few days back in London. Like the mayor of London predicted a similar thing as well. So again, these kind of things are pretty interesting and useful for public. There are a lot of other different projects like local open data sensors. That's an interesting one. I think it can be a good model for Nepal. Eastern Secret Contracts campaign. So a lot of government campaign and the contracts they need to be public and it need to be published in such a way that different companies and organizations or any people can actually access it, reuse it and redistribute it. Open budget, again, it's obvious, open budget. If it is like open, how much budget is allocated for a particular project, where the different money is flowing, obviously, corruption can be controlled much easily. Open handbook, open spending, open trials, school of data, open definition. There are like maybe hundreds or even more. You can find the projects here. And there's a global network. So Open Knowledge International has like various ways of identifying their child organizations. So there are like some established chapters in countries like Austria, Belgium, Brazil, Finland. There are established group in different countries, incubating group in other countries, and affiliates in different countries as well. And you can actually see Nepal, which is in the established group. So in Nepal also, the moment it started, and the organization is actually working from last 2-3 years. It is in the process of being an official chapter. There are like few projects which Nepal has done as well. Uh, so one of the leading project was Public Bodies Nepal and Open Directory. So this is a good start. All the public bodies, their branches, and all the hierarchy, they are being listed as Open Directory, so everyone can access. They can actually build something on top of that data as well. Nepal Open Data Index and the project My Local Budget. That's another interesting one as well. It's a good start again to maybe control, to see like how much budget has been allocated and how the budget is being spent in public. Open Data Handbook Nepali version. This is in stage of being in a print stage now. Ask Nepal. So you can find like various places of Nepal. You can inquire. You can like type the name of place, and then you can figure out like tourist destination and all those kind of things from Ask Nepal. Open transit, origami, organic agriculture. Why all this? What is the necessity? That's what used to happen in the past. Data used to be jumbled up in all those piles of books, and it takes like maybe months to figure out or like to validate like whether the criminal who made the accident, whether his license was valid or not. Like it used to take like a really long time. Now it's a bit better. It's in this format. Again, as I said earlier, like it can be in a PDF format or it can be like a Word format or something. But I cannot reuse it. Like how can I query on this data set? It's really difficult. I need something in a machine readable way so my program can read it. So I didn't need someone to translate and put it on an Excel file or CSV format or something. And this is the future that Open Knowledge is hoping. Maybe the data is translated in such a way that we can actually make some analysis out of it. This is just a sample, like, make a judgment based on this data. Again, this data may not be completely wrong, may be completely wrong as well. Okay, and the future continued. Answers to the following and more vague questions will be clear to public if we manage to implement some of the open data projects. It can be any. Again, on this part, I said earlier, I need your suggestions and feedback, and then we can work together to run various projects. So some of the questions which is always bugging my mind, I think if we implement open data properly, if we publish open data properly, that will solve the problem. Okay, one of the problem, why is there 14 hours load setting? If there was like proper data regarding NEA, like how much electricity was being produced, what is the market capacity, because that data need to be public, that was supposed to be public, because it wasn't in a proper way, so nobody could make analysis, and someone like a government employee was ruling the whole country by making 14 hours load setting, and there is no load setting at all now. It's just a matter of joke. Why cannot someone figure it out? If there was proper data, it would have been public in like in a matter of like few hours. It's pretty much a straightforward thing. It's a mathematics, and everyone like a school kid of 5 class can actually figure that one out. We all are engineers, and like no one, like even mathematicians, they don't know like what's happening there. How much actual percentage of budget has been spent on this bridge? 100% budget allocated, 10% used, 5%, how much went to the commission, how much went on corruption and those kind of things. It would be really clear as well. Clear financial status of the political figure. Actually, this slide was meant to be a bit satirical to the political leader and government employees, but they have already left. Anyway, like it's clear like how much of a minister when he comes to the politics, how much money he has, and when he left, how much money he has. Like that's a clear picture. I don't know what's happening. Like, okay, everyone can read other. So whom to vote and make our leader? Like how many times the people have made corruption. Like based upon that, we can actually vote. Like okay, this guy became prime minister 3 times and he's not doing anything. Why should we vote him? Why is there unemployment? Where does my money go? Like I pay tax in Nepal. What's happening there? Which country does the maximum number of youth go? And again, on the productive side, like how many people go to UK, how many people go to US, how many Nepalese engineer, doctor, nurses, accountant, economists, and all the people are all around the world. What gets imported in Nepal must? Why don't we manufacture the same thing? Like a needle is manufactured, for example, like a needle is getting imported in Nepal in a maximum quantity. That's just an example. Why don't we manufacture the same thing? All this data give proper statistics. On basis of that, we can make intelligent decision. If you need answer to similar questions, then join us in the moment. You can add your own question. Like if there's something which is bugging your mind, just feel free to come to me. We can actually build a data set on top of that and we can run the project. How is open knowledge key for infrastructure development? Open knowledge helps on creating power for the many, not the few. Obviously, if we have like proper data set, then it helps many people. Data frees us to make informed choices about how we live, what we buy, and who gets our vote. So obviously, if we give vote to proper person who is good, then a lot of things can be changed easily. Information and insights are accessible and apparent to everyone. This leads to awareness, transparency leading to participatory governance, less corruption, and thus infrastructure development is obvious. I just want to add a little bit on this point. Transparency leading to participatory governance. So in UK, like if they want to change any rule, they run a consultation. All the public actually fill an online survey, and based upon that, they make the changes in the rules so immediately and quickly as well. In Nepal, I don't know how it works. I have no idea at all. Thank you, and these are my details. And if anyone got any questions, then just feel free to ask me.
Maybe two questions, yeah?
Hello. खालि नेगेटिभ साइड अफ ओपन डेटाको के भन्नुहुन्छ के चाहिँ यसको नेगेटिभ इम्प्याक्ट छ ओपन डेटा
मलाई सोध्नु भयो ओके अघि नै मैले एउटा स्लाइडमा देखाएको थिएँ if we are making a data public, like the cheat we pass to our girlfriend, if we make that message public, obviously that's a negative side. That's just one example. Like a lot of unclassified data that doesn't need to be classified, they should not make public, and all the data which need to be public should be public. So if we make all the public data public, then I didn't see any problem with that. But obviously, classified, private information, confidential information, they need to remain public. They need to have like all this kind of different data protection act and policies.
मेरो विचारमा तपाईले दिनुभएको आन्सर चाहिँ प्राइभेसी सेक्युरिटी र डेटा प्रोटेक्सनतिर भयो मैले भन्न खोजेको चाहिँ मसँग एउटा एक्जाम्पल छ ओपन डेटाबाट नेभिगेसन एप्लेट चलाइन्थ्यो पहिला जस्तै के अरे युकेको अथवा युरोपको नेभिगेसन चाहिँ हामी मोबाइलमा डाउनलोड गरेर द्याट इज ओल्ड बेस्ड अन द ओपन डेटा हामी कारहरू ड्राइभ गर्थ्यौँ होइन आजभोलि त्यो एप टोटली बाहिर गएको छ आउट अफ छ अन्त दुई रिजन हुनसक्छ एउटा त कारमै नेभिगेसन टुल्स एभाइलेबल छ अर्को चाहिँ गुगल म्याप आफै यस्तो स्ट्रङ भएको छ सो मेरो क्वेसन यहाँ ओपन डेटालाई कन्ट्रोल गर्नलाई अथेन्टिकेट डेटा एज लङ एज एभाइलेबल छ भने मान्छेले ओपन डेटामा नगएर अथेन्टिकेट डेटामा जान सक्छ कि फर्स्ट थिङ एन्ड सेकेन्ड थिङ चाहिँ as long as the data passes to one point to another point as an open data, it could be destructive, self-destructive. त्यसको प्रोटेक्सनको लागि ओपन डेटा टेक्नोलोजीमा के मेकानिजम अथवा ओपन डेटा कन्सेप्ट बनाउने एनी मतलब बिल्डर अब डेभलपरहरुसँग कस्तो त्यस्तो सोल्युसन
अब यो ओपन डेटा भन्ने चाहिँ हामीले विकिपीडियामा जसरी सबैले अपलोड गर्न मिल्छ त्यो मेकानिजमबाट सबैले अपलोड गर्ने भन्ने मेकानिजममा जान खोजेको हैन यो कलेक्ट गर्ने पनि अथेन्टिक सोर्स र बडी हुन्छ लाइक हामीले गभर्नमेन्टसँग रिलाइ नगरिकन आई थिंक मोर देन 80% डेटा इज जनरेटेड बाइ गभर्नमेन्ट एन्ड पब्लिक अर्गनाइजेसन्स yeah, so we need to rely on them. So if they provide like reliable data, then obviously those data are going to be authentic. अब अरु कुराहरु गर्दाखेरि जस्तो तपाईले भन्नुभयो सेक्युरिटी कसरी मेन्टेन गर्ने भन्ने कुरा छ अहिले इन्टरनेशनल बडीले के गर्छ भने जब डेटा चाहिँ पोस्ट गरिन्छ पोस्ट गरेपछि त्यसलाई एनालिसिस गर्छन् इन्टरनेशनल एडभाइजरहरु हुन्छन् उनीहरुले त्यसलाई एनालिसिस गर्छन् एनालिसिस गरेपछि डेटा अथेन्टिक अब उनीहरुको सर्टेन लाइक स्क्युनेस कति हुने भन्ने एउटा क्राइटेरिया होला त्यो स्क्युनेस लेभल भित्र पर्यो भने त्यसलाई बल्ल एप्रुभ हुन्छ होइन भने त्यसको री डेटा कलेक्सनको कामहरु हुन्छ त्यसले गर्दा अलिकति कन्ट्रोलिङ हुन्छ तर तपाईले भन्नु जस्तो मिसयुज हुने चान्सेस छ अब तर त्यसको लागि चाहिँ अब मिसयुज अभियसली हुन्छ त्यो मिसयुज नहुनलाई जसले डेटा पब्लिश गर्छ उले खाली पब्लिकली अवेलेबल डेटा मात्र पब्लिश गर्नु पर्यो र पब्लिक गर्न नमिल्ने डेटाहरुलाई सेक्युरिटी त्यो कुराहरुमा चाहिँ बढी फोकस गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ यसले अर्को पार्टमा फोकस गर्छ लाइक organization need to be more secure and protect their data which doesn't need to go on public.
Okay, I think we got the stuff